Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Father John, and we are now having our communion. And I'd like to invite everyone to those who can come over to join us today. Our regular uh, uh, newscasters. That's Dinah um, and uh, and Tony. They're not here right now. They're unavailable. So just to keep everyone informed about what's going on, we have already started with our post Mass communion. That is how we call this event. It's a post Mass communion, and we have this opportunity to receive communion after the Mass. And we don't have any feed right now because I am in Studio 2, also known as my office, and we don't have a remote camera right now. So I ask for your pardon if we don't have any remote broadcasting. What I do have are security cameras, but I don't know how to project them. So maybe I'll find a way to show our security cameras next time from where I am so that we'll have a picture, but I can more or less have a grasp about how it's going on. I showed the video earlier about the the first rush of people, and it was very smooth. It was so nice to see all of those early birds who were falling in line, and we had given communion first to all of our volunteers. And again, we have a lot of volunteers who have joined us today, and that is something that is very encouraging. So we thank the Lord for this opportunity that we have this these volunteers. I'm sorry for my hair if it looks a little strange and weird because I came from outside. I was wearing a cap, so my hair is a little bit unruly. So for those who are who have just tuned in, I'm this is just to make sure that we prepare ourselves for the reception of communion. And earlier on, I have earlier on I have shared that we will be having this post mass communion, or well, a drive through communion if you allow me. But next week we shall also allow people to come in and join with our masses. Okay, Patrick, yes, scooters are, yeah, wow, I think this is better, right? I guess Q&A for everyone else. Yes, Patrick, somebody went last week with on a bike, so that's okay. If you are going to, I think walk-ins, yeah, walk-ins are, if you're gonna, you're a neighbor in the area, you're gonna walk in, I guess you could just, you can fall in line in one of the lanes, and that will be possible too, right? Yes. Those who don't have cars, I think this is a better way uh, to answer your questions because you have live questions right now. And if you are probably not, how do you call that? If you are not disposed to receive the Lord in communion, I would still encourage you to come over and join in with the community, and even in church, right? Whenever we go for communion, we, even if you're not disposed, we fall in line, we cross our arms across our chest, and that is also a way for us to uh, receive the Lord in communion, and that is something that we can do. Joel, is it your birthday today? Thank you for singing, Joel. Thank you for joining us. And Joel was the one who was playing the piano earlier. So Joel, happy birthday, and thank you for playing the music. You know, we don't really have choirs right now. I think I have been explaining that in the past weeks that masses are well, when it comes to our masses, we are making it well, because of the current circumstance, not the new circumstance, because that indeed will become old and it will change. We're just here. This is our present adaptation. So, uh, so right now, people can come over and join and receive communion. And I hope that this will allow us, those who are falling in line and those who are preparing themselves for communion, may I invite you to dispose yourself right now and prepare yourself to receive the Lord. And for all those who are volunteering right now, I'd like to thank you. If maybe some of, but then I hope that those who are ministers of communion are not holding their cell phones right now. Okay? But maybe in your stations, you could have someone have their cell phones on so that you can see what's going on, and we can have you can communicate to me if there's something that you'd like to tell to the people. So this is a new situation and new arrangement that we have. I said there won't be any live broadcast, maybe live pictures, but I decided communication is important. So everybody knows that we are now in our the first 20 minutes. So that is what, 1/6 of our 1/6 of our time allotted for our communion today. That means half of set one. So, okay, those who are Saturday Mass goers and our 6:30 and 8 o'clock Mass goers, this will be a good time for you to receive the Lord in communion. So welcome, welcome. And if you're falling in line, that is a good, this is something that will encourage you to start preparing your hearts to receive Jesus in communion. And thank you for everyone who are tuning in. Okay? And this is just to make sure that you are informed that we are going through right now with our communion. Technically, the technical term for this, I don't think a drive-through communion is a liturgical term, but liturgically, what we are doing is a communion after the Mass. So we assume that those who are falling in line attended our live stream Masses. So this is an opportunity for you to receive communion in connection with all of those celebrations. So, if we have volunteers right now who are there, I'd like to thank you in advance for all the sacrifices that you are making right now. I think Father Joachim is there right now, manning the Eucharist. I guess somebody has to take. I think this is where I can be more effective in trying to reach out to those who are preparing themselves to receive communion. I will have to. We have to check about how we are right now. Okay. I will look at our security cameras and see how we're doing. Yeah, it's ongoing. Okay, if I can, let me see. Uh, I don't know. See, maybe I can put it here. It's like a picture in picture. So it's ongoing right now. It's quite free right now. I see uh, lane number 3. Okay. Maybe it's like a picture in picture. This is kind of weird, right? So it's quite free right now. There was a rush at the start, and then you have cars coming in. You know, it's very efficient. We have about 6 lanes. The field is 1 lane. And then we have about I think 4 lanes that are present already in the field. See, there's a car. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. So this is my phone, which I'm using both as my way to read your comments. Okay. Okay, so Mirtha, okay, I will say this in Spanish, okay? Tenemos una procesión de comunión eucarística de 2 hasta a 4 en la tarde. Okay, welcome everyone. So you can drive through, you can use a scooter, you can use a bike, and walk-ins are also walk-ins. We will not turn away people who are walking in, especially for our neighbors who just live across the street. Well, maybe if it's safer, since you might find that to be a long walk. Okay? Now, I'd like to thank also our pastoral council members. Okay, I'm going to text them right now. We have a group text. I am broadcasting now. Okay, there you are. At least they know because they're talking about the good thing is I'd like to thank our pastoral council, and I'd like to thank those who are volunteering in making sure that aside from the actual volunteers, we thank those who have volunteered to make sure that the volunteers are properly fed as well. So we have, I know it's a little warm with the sun, so for them to have nice, at least something to drink and something to eat later on. So we have people who are coordinating right now, and we are we'd like to thank them for that. Okay, I think this time it's Natasha who's in charge of taking care of the food. In the past week, it was Tita Maria Trias. Tita Maria, thank you and take care. She's not here right now, but the rest of the council members are here. And we thank all those who are working hard for what we are doing right now. So keep yourself. Okay, Dinah is watching. Dinah, you're supposed to be here. No, it's okay. It's the day off right now of one of our broadcasters, for Dinah and Tony Rose. So I am taking the cudgels for in their behalf. So at least this is an opportunity that we keep people informed. I don't have a remote camera right now as Justin, but we do have the church security cameras that act like my own eyes in what's going on in the field right now. And we hope that we can be a little bit more high tech next week. Maybe we can do this again. And this time I can actually get a feed from our security cameras. That can be done, right? All I need is to find a way to connect my phone to the computer. But right now, this camera that we're using is the one connected to the computer. So, so So we're doing this. I guess this it's a good service for the parish that we have our way, our own local radio. We may not have a lot of. I think everyone's focus is on volunteering right now. So and everyone is actually helping out, but and a lot of people are lining up for communion. So my invitation is this: if you are, for example, part of a prayer group, and you know that you have parishioners who could not drive, they could not drive anymore, maybe because of the arrangements. If you can find a way wherein you can safely bring them here, then that will be that is going to be a good service for our parishioners. So we can also, if you are someone who feels that, well, I'm not receiving communion anyway because I've not prepared. I mentioned earlier that if you can find time to go to confession this coming weekend, make a promise to the Lord that you're really going to line up on Saturday for confessions, then you can say a perfect act of contrition and join in. Hi, Christine. Christine is is one of our volunteers there right now. Christine, you can tell the other volunteers to tune in and we can interact. Okay, and maybe each station can have a cell phone that's open so that we can have like a radio that's going on. Okay, I decided to do this so that at least we can all have a way to be in touch with each other. And if there are any questions, I can answer them. And one of the questions that came in is that, Father, I don't have a car. I guess that's something that there's an assumption here that everybody has a car because we are in Southern California, and I guess I am sorry that is a I'm sorry for that assumption, because some may have a car but could not drive. I know of a family right now who during this times of pandemic, the one who can drive in the family is unable to do so, or some have their cars in the repair shop, or for example, the one who usually drives the family for their usual mass schedules is at work during this time, and I understand that perfectly. So we have these options for you, just in case this is very inconvenient. Starting next week, we shall already have we shall be opening the masses that we have. One of them is the Vigil Mass on a Saturday. That's why we can have a mass on Saturday. That's a Vigil Mass. We are opening that up. We had started that yesterday, so 100 people can join in. Tenemos una misa cada alas 8 para los entes parroquial hispano. Tenemos una misa a las 8 en la mañana, especialmente para próxima semana, en vivo a las 8. Pero solo para 100 personas. Okay? We'd like to welcome everybody else who, again, for those who are not disposed to receive communion, as I mentioned earlier in my homily, the precious body and blood of our Lord comes to us as many forms. One of them is our food for the journey. That's why every Catholic, the fullness of your initiation into the church is the reception of communion. So that is food for the journey. Viaticum, via, right? viaticum. That's the food for the journey. The precious body and blood of our Lord also comes in the form of not only viaticum, but also when it comes to communion. Well, that's a very common word for all of us. So today we take time to receive communion from the Lord. But it makes us part of the family. So coming over, okay, wherein we receive the Lord spiritually, but we are, it's a good sign, right? We come over even though we're not disposed, and we just be in the presence of the Lord. You can cross your arms across your chest, like what you do when you go for communion, but at least you're in the presence of the Lord, and you're with the presence of the community, and you're in the safety of your car. So that's also something that we can, something that can happen, right? We can cross our arms across our chest, but it's a good sign that we're part of the community, and that's something that we want to restart during this time. Again, the Lord is also presence. So there is the presence of the Lord, and that presence is reaffirmed in the giving of communion today, in the masses that we attend, even though it's a live stream mass. It's a continual sign of the presence of the Lord. Being deprived of the reception of the Eucharist does not, maybe I'm talking about historical terms, okay? The absence of the Eucharist, of course, does not complete the picture, because the Eucharist is the summit, the font and summit of our life. But it's still, even though the absence of communion is maybe a real thing in many communities. Let's take the example of the Amazon, right? In the Amazon, it's remote, but we do have a lot of Catholics there. Many of them go for years, months without the reception of communion, but the church is alive. Let's take the case of Japan. Okay? Japan, in the late 16th century and early 17th century, we had these great persecutions. I think we have watched that movie Silence. It's a picture of how people suffered for their faith, and how they were systematically executed. And in that movie, it showed how our it showed how they were smart. They said, okay, we'll torture these people, and we'll stop torturing them if you give up on their faith. That's how tricky they were. And of course, it's a very hard choice for many people. And so many died, and of course they were attacking first the priests, thinking that if you deprive them of leaders and priests, then the faith will die. In that last scene, when they showed that is it Andrew Garfield, one of the second to the last Spider-Man? He was one of the characters there. Well, in the movie, one of the scenes was that he stepped on the one of the images of Christ. It's a symbol of turning your back against the Lord. But then in the end, when he was so he lived, he was able to survive as a foreigner in Japan. But in that last scene, he held a cross. He had a cross in his hands. So even though there were no more priests, there were no more masses celebrated in Japan, centuries later, when Japan opened up again and missionaries were able to come back, they saw that there were descendants of those who were persecuted who kept on with their faith, lay missionaries. And even though there was no physical communion, yet the presence of the Eucharist, whose seeds were planted earlier on, was still very much alive in Japan. And that is something that's the grace of the Holy Spirit. So, yes, the precious body and blood of the Lord may not be, there are restrictions right now, but these are restrictions because of common care. But nobody stops us from receiving communion right now. All you have to do is just to come over. But we all know that the presence of the Lord is real. That even though we may not all be able to worship together, technically we really can't worship together as a parish because we are so many. That's why we have so many masses, right? But we may not be able to go to our usual services in the church. God's presence is still there, and that is something that we are grateful for. So now it's time for me to this is something that Mirtha is mentioned. I have to say this in behalf of our Hispanic parishioners. Su presencia se siente, Él está con nosotros siempre. Para la iglesia. Okay. Okay, let's check our security cameras right now. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Ongoing. Okay. Everything is still smoothly running. Okay. So if you're considering, you can go now. You don't have to. Now we are at the time is we're ending now the our first period. So now those in the second period, our 9:45, 11 o'clock mass goers, those in the Portuguese mass and those in the Chinese mass, come on down. Okay? We're done with the first period. We are now in period number 2. I think it's very smooth right now. So period number 2, we like to welcome our next set of parishioners. And I can see one driving across the field. There. Oh, no. You can't see that. Okay. If I can I've set the camera only to focus on me right now. It's not automatic, so that it's not always focusing. But if I can set it on automatic, then I can just show you my phone right now, and that will focus. But that's not how it's set up right now, so we can't do that. But then I'm going to be your eyes. I'm going to be your eyes and ears for those who are watching right now. So, welcome everyone, and for those in the second period, now is a good time to come over and receive the Lord in communion. And I'd like to thank Patrick. Patrick is one of our young adults. We do have a lot of volunteers from our young adults when it comes to our multimedia ministry. But aside from the multimedia ministry, we have our tech team, and our part of the tech team when it comes to back end support when it comes to multimedia. The one in charge of our website and the one in charge for our other streaming stuff. Martin has fixed the problem when it comes to our broadcasting with YouTube. So we had a glitch in the past weeks. I guess you know that. Uh, it's like we had like something like a virus attack last week, that everything it shut off a lot of our systems, and that is very strange. But we were able to go. Now we're able to be back online, and that's something that we're grateful to the Lord for. So I think that we're doing everything smoothly. Okay, so for now I am going to let's watch. Let's have a few songs of the parish. Okay, maybe something to prepare us for our communion. Okay, so I will. Okay, maybe a few songs could be in order. So let's do that. For your viewing pleasure, let's have a few songs.
Save me, O God. The floods reach my head. I'm sinking in the waters in the deep, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm crying out for help. My throat burns from shouts. I'm seeking, but failing to see you through my fear and doubt. Even in the storm, I praise you. Even in the dark, I shout your name. Even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. I've journeyed through the sea and seen the wonders of you, Lord.
Okay, that was Lead Us. That was the song from Emil Salud. It is one of our church anthems, and that is our own original parish song. And I thank the Lord that we have these musical selections that we can play, which allows me to go out and get a drink. Okay, I think I have to. I don't have to broadcast what I'm drinking right now. While you noticed earlier on, I was closing my eyes. I was closing my eyes to conserve energy because I was feeling a little bit dehydrated, probably because of the medicines I'm taking. So I have to be hydrated. So thank God that I have a chance to play something, go to the kitchen and grab something to drink, and come back again here and do what I am doing. So everyone, welcome. And for those who are watching, this is a good time for us to be together while it's communion. It's communion time. There's when I was assigned in my old parish, my my pastor then was the head of the liturgical commission for the archdiocese, and there was a discussion about song selection for communion time. Of course, for some, we prefer. There are. I think it depends also on our approach. Some of us would like to have silence and reflection and meditation. That's perfect for post communion. But there's also time wherein we sing with joy because we're receiving the Lord. And maybe this time we gather right now as a family, not just to be reflective, but also to allow us to have a chance to be celebratory. We have brothers and sisters right now who are partaking of the precious body and blood of our Lord, and we have that opportunity to do so as a parish. So for those who are not who did not factor this in when it comes to your Sunday, may I ask you, and also maybe for this is a term that I've been using in my broadcasts, that maybe you can act like sheepdogs. Maybe there are those who have not factored in that we can receive communion today. Maybe people have a lot of excuses. It's not safe. Yeah, well, we make sure that our everything has been properly sanitized. You will remain in your car as much as possible, other than the fact that if you there are people driving in with vans, and if we have vans, then I don't think that uh, giving communion through the window is the best. So if you're filled up in the car, then that might not be a good option when it comes to the manner. So we ask people to go down if they are in a van. But then, other than that, if your car has enough windows with people, then you don't have to go down, right? And we really make sure that there are many ministers involved there, so that and I realize that we have a surplus of volunteers today. Thank you, Lord. That's a wonderful sign. For those who are those who came in to serve but were not able to do so immediately, we thank you for your service. Don't worry. There will be we need more volunteers starting next week because we do have masses masses already that will be opening up, of course with the same limitation next week. So that will allow us to receive the Lord and also to serve Him in service. Wow, I might be the worst DJ ever. Okay. I just came in unprepared. I don't really but then here we are, and we are having this opportunity to at least be informed about what's going on. So, and I think Rosie mentioned that thank you for the details I'm giving. Yes, I think people need details and information. I'll have more calm. I have more confidence if I have more details. So for those right now, for those who usually attend Mass, for the 9:45, the 11:30, the Portuguese Mass, and the Chinese Masses, come on down. Okay? Is that a copyrighted term? Okay? Just come on down to the church and receive the Lord in communion, or be with the church in communion, even though you may not be disposed to receive the Lord in communion right now. As I mentioned, if you're going to make a promise that you're going to go to confession as soon as you can. Remember, we already have confessions, okay, public confessions. We never lost confessions, but since public confessions was still not allowed during that time, we made it as an off-the-menu item during the past weeks prior to the recent ones. I think I mentioned that already. It's an off-the-menu item, but it's there. All you have to do is call the office and ask for confession, and the office will and had scheduled that. But now there is no excuse anymore. If you're not aware that we had that off-menu item, we didn't have communion also during that time. Now that we have communion, we now have confession as well, and we have confessions every Saturday, 3:30 to 5 o'clock, and we do hope that parishioners will take advantage of this. Okay, especially those who have not received the sacrament of confession. May I invite you to receive the sacrament of confession on Saturdays, 3:30 to 5 o'clock. I'm going to check right now. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to check something here. So we have so it's good. We are broadcasting also in YouTube. We have people watch. Hello to those watching YouTube, and hello to those watching in Facebook, and hello to those watching from our website. Okay, those are ways to listen to our broadcast. And I have this earlier video. I think this might look strange because it's like a picture in picture, but I think I'll just show to you the video, what it looks like on the ground. So okay, well, it's clear enough, right? You know, this is rather crude for a broadcast. I'm adjusting so that it looks straight. Okay, so as you can see, so that's how it looks like on the ground. Okay, that's how it looks like. So there's a stop before, so that those are ministers waiting to give communion. Okay, let's play it again. Okay, so that's when we open the gates. There are different lanes. see the field. If you can see the field enough that there are cars, that's the first car out. It's from the field. See how smooth everything is? And then there are many lanes. Like I think we have 4 or 5 lanes of cars coming in. If you want to give a donation to the church, then you see that car on the right. Well, I'm not sure. That car in the corner, there is giving a donation first prior to communion. So that is like the offertory first before the liturgy of the Eucharist. So so that's also another. So that it's very smooth. We learned about this from last week. We refined what we learned from last week. So if last week, even though with all the glitches, we were really smooth, incredible. First time we did it. But then prior to that, we had practice with the Pentecost thingy, right? So during Pentecost, we had we had that stream of people, and we were able to refine that even better. And that was just 2 or 3 streams. Now we have 5 streams of people, and that's something that's wonderful. And we have one, of course, you can go through the Clarkdale entrance, and you can go through our Sign Gate entrance, and that is something that is available for us to access the church. And the exit will be at Devlin. And since the people usually give their donations, last week initially, people were giving their donations before they exited, before they left, and that is something that caused certain clogs. But right now, we learned from our experiences. There you are. I'm okay. I showed the video earlier on. Let's see. I hope maybe next time will be a little bit more high tech when it comes to our broadcast. We'll get there. Okay. So the cars are coming in. I can see cars in the field, and everything is running smoothly. Wow. Okay. We have a good number of people coming in. So for those volunteers who are listening right now, thank you. Thank you so much for your love and support for the church. This is incredible. I will, if I'm going to do this next week, or we're going to find a way wherein we can have feeds of the feed of our video camera, so that we have different angles, and that's interesting. I think that's doable. Something entered into my head on how that can be done, and I think we can do that. Do you know that we have excellent coverage already when it comes to our security cameras around the church? That's something that we had installed. So we have excellent coverage, and that is something that I am grateful for everyone. Will the priests or Eucharistic ministers wear gloves? No, we cannot. We don't wear gloves, but we keep our hands continually sanitized. Even our sanitizers are touchless. So we have we're not wearing gloves because that is not allowed liturgically, but we keep on sanitizing our hands. Sorry if I wasn't able to answer your question a little earlier because I only have one cell phone. Okay. So Raquel, welcome. So for everyone else, if I think this is our way to reach out to most of our parishioners as much as we can. Um, we know the limitations that are presented by the limits to the number of people that can go to the church. But because of this constant flow of cars, we will always have, and this is something that is that allows us to not to have people congregate in the church, and we are able to have this opportunity to give to communion to everyone else. So now, for the sake of those who are um, preparing themselves for communion, um, I think this is today we are celebrating the feast of Corpus Christi, and our readings were taken from the Gospel of St. John. St. John did not anymore repeat the story of the institution of the Eucharist. He did not do that, unlike the Synoptic Gospels and unlike what St. Paul did. But St. John, in our reading for today, spoke about the Eucharist at length. St. John was the one who's wherein we get the most insight in our understanding of the Eucharist. And that is our gospel reading for today on the Feast of Corpus Christi. What St. John focused on during the Last Supper was the command of the Lord, especially for us to remain in Him, and to remain in Him by following His commandments of loving one another, to wash each other's feet. Okay? And one of the reflections that we're going to have is that we're going to listen to the song, Ubi Caritas. And the Lord said, where there is love, I think that's the meaning of Ubi Caritas. Where there is love, I will be there. And that's something very beautiful right now. Especially for, if you cannot come over and you are sharing this broadcast, you don't have a car, you don't have somebody to bring you, and you live a little bit far away, you cannot walk over to the church, you're united with us in prayer. And as long as there is love for each other, the Lord is present. So, for our meditation song, let me play Ubi Caritas by the music ministry of our parish.
Now love God in return. we who gather at this table to share the bread of life become a sacrament of love. Your healing touch, O Christ. Ubi caritas espera, Deus ibi est, Deus ibi est. Ubi caritas espera, Deus ibi est, Deus ibi est.
Thank you so much for that beautiful song from our music ministry that is Ubi Caritas. Where love is, where charity is, the Lord is with us. So may I invite those who are, we are now approaching the last 10 minutes of our second period of receiving communion. So these are for our mass goers from the Portuguese Mass, the 9:45 and the 11:30. May I invite everyone else, I think, come on down. Come on over. So if you are, I think this is already the time we're in. Everybody else, go to the church now, so that this is the last 50 minutes. That is, we're now about to enter into the last period for communion time. Okay, I took off my alb so that I can move a little bit freer right now, and it looks so natural. So welcome to those who are watching, and then for our volunteers who are listening, thank you so much. Thank you for doing what you're doing for the church. Thank you for having that having this opportunity to be present for our community, and we make the love of the Lord present into the lives of our own parishioners. And so let's also remember all of our parishioners who are sick and cannot join us right now when it comes to this time for communion. We pray that the Lord will give them healing. Hi, Tita Letty. Let's pray for the sick. Let's pray for those who have, for those who are lonely and have, and also those who are unable to come over and join us today. We also pray to the Lord for those who are fearful also. So those who are fearful to go out, and that's perfectly understandable. So this is we're doing what we're doing, okay? We're trying to be all things to all men. Probably, it's probably not the best way we can do it, but we are going to keep on doing what we are doing. And that is, we're going to live stream our masses whenever we can. We are going to open the church, limited hours, yes, with limited people. But then you can visit the church for personal prayer. the masses are open to the public, but of course with certain limitations. And we thank the Lord for that opportunity. And also, we are grateful to the Lord too that we have this chance for people to receive communion so that we can serve as many people as we can. Bendito seas por siempre, Señor, Berta. Okay, so Bertha, gracias a Diyos para su presencia ahorita. We thank the Lord that we are having this opportunity, and I am extremely grateful that our parishioners are all on board, especially our leaders. And our parish leaders come in many forms. They are the parish leaders are the parish council, the finance council members, the mentors. The mentors are well, I think the term that they've been using as are mentors, but technically speaking, they are our supervisors when it comes to our staff here. We have supervisors. Father Joachim, who is my associate. So I thank the parish leadership for being very supportive, and those who are heads of ministries, leaders of your own particular covenant communities. So that includes members of various prayer groups, and you're exercising your leadership and you're being shepherds by reaching out to people and keeping everyone on board. Those who are helping out in our formational ministries, aside from our mentors, those who are involved in our religious education programs and our adult education programs. We are grateful to the Lord for their love and support. And this kind of action that we're doing, this movement of people in service of their fellow parishioners, cannot be done by one person alone, and definitely can't be done by myself. Okay? Maybe somebody can do this with greater energy, but then that person cannot do everything, right? And here I am doing this in my office while others are there serving in the front lines, in a sense. Those who are giving communion, those who are doing the traffic management. Knights of Columbus is aside from the random volunteers that we have, especially among different communities of our parish. A lot of them, we have a lot of young adults, a lot of youth who are serving, a lot of members of the Couples for Christ, a lot of members of the Knights of Columbus. Please don't be angry at me if I don't mention your name, the Apostolado Hispano. People from all over, different parts of the parish have come together to do this act of love, and for that, we thank the Lord for such great people. Okay, this is already okay. We are now at 3. We're about to be at 3:17. So 3:17 means we're just a few minutes away from ending period number 2, and we're about to enter period number 3. But maybe I'd like to invite everyone else to come over. Okay, this is practically the last period already. Just a couple of minutes before the last period would come in. So may I invite you to come over right now and join us join us for our communion service. Okay? So, this is your opportunity to do so. Mhm. And just to help you in your reflection, there's another song I like to play. God, you search me and you know me. Maybe these are a few of the songs that we've been listening to, and we thank those you know uh, those who had volunteered. We started the Thursday group. There, our young adults really paved the way for this initiative, and this I did not ask them to do this, but they just did it on their own, and this sparked a lot of creativity within the parish, and that is something that gave us a treasure chest of songs, reflections, and also it allows me, on a practical sense, to stop talking for a while so that you can be able to reflect on the words. So maybe this time I'll turn you into our music ministry and listen to, oh God, you search me and you know me.
Oh God, you search me and you know me. All my thoughts lie open to your gaze. When I walk or lie down, you are before me. Ever the maker and keeper of my days. You know my resting and my rising. You discern my purpose from afar. And with love everlasting you besiege me. In every moment of life or death you are. Although your spirit is upon me, still I search for shelter from your light. There is nowhere on earth I can escape you. Even the darkness is radiant in your sight. For you created me and shaped me, gave me life within my mother's womb. For the wonder of who I am, I praise you. Safe in your hands, all creation is made new.
Oops. Okay. For those who watch my broadcast, one of the things um, that I try to have is a lit candle. And I had realized that I'm doing this broadcast and the candle has not been lit. And the candle is a sign of the presence of the Lord. Today we are celebrating Corpus Christi Sunday, and we are now in the third period of our communion. And I guess this is our chance right now for those who are attending masses usually at 4 o'clock, 5:30, and 7 p.m. This is your chance to come on down and join us so that you may be able to receive the Lord in communion. You know, we have a revolving table, revolving door of those who are watching, because this is, of course, is a special service to keep people informed about what's going on. And Father Pius is watching. Ed and Lou Carlos, okay, so this is your I'm doing this so that people are informed about what's going on. And we are now in the third period of our reception of communion. That's the 3:20 to 4 o'clock slot. So this is our, as you know, this is our part of our staggered plan to keep people so that everyone does not, they don't crowd in the reception of communion right now. So we thank you for joining us today, and also we thank the Lord for all of our volunteers, and we thank you for being involved, keeping yourself involved in the church. So you see, a lot of different people are joining in our broadcast today, and we are broadcasting in Facebook, YouTube, and in our website. Okay. Also Vimeo, but that will just complicate matters. If you can't do Facebook, then I'll be surprised why you're doing Vimeo. Okay. So okay. So Manuel and Luisa, thank you for joining us also. So we are. I'm doing this. Why am I not outside? It's not because I like to be. I like to be indoors right now. It's because our usual broadcasters for this time, and I have not watched them and how they're doing it. That's Dinah Salud and Tony Rose. They're doing this. They're doing this service to keep people informed, and I'm the one doing this right now because I realize that this is an essential service. We are just a little bit blind right now because we don't have that camera. I think Justin is also not available. Okay, so I think Justin is part of the package deal also when it comes to the broadcast. Well, maybe since there are no newscasters, there are no broadcasters, so why no one's going to stream? So this is something I just thought of spontaneously. I thought I'll just type a few words. You know what I do? That that community billboard system that we're doing before. We broadcast, especially like 2 weeks ago when these protest marches, and of course the one that we're really worried about is the threats of looting in the area. Those are the things that are that allowed us to have which made us do that community broadcast thing. I thought that's what I'm going to do that, but then that's going to be very static, right? It's good that we have a more interactive way of reaching out to you. So the team will be back next week. Okay, should I be singing live? No, I won't. Okay, I will only do that with the tantum ergo earlier on. I think that's going to be it, and probably a few alleluias if there will be no cantors. Other than that, you will not hear me sing live for your sake. Okay, for everyone's sake. So, there you are. So what a great parish that we have, right? We have, I think we have excellent volunteers. We have great people working for us. We have our own similar, it's like a parish radio show. Just right now, I'm the one doing it. I'm not out there in the field right now because this is something that needs to be done. Okay, Rosie, I would like to receive ocular communion. May you please host an outdoor adoration? Oh, we have done that, Rosie. We had done that during Pentecost, and the church is actually open. But we're not allowed to have adoration. It's not yet part of the menu right now. Okay. So, ocular. But you can do that right now, Rosie. You can come by. You can if you don't like to receive communion yet, you can just drop by and you just drive. You can cross your arms across your chest and probably with a few seconds just be there. You can do that. If you're uncomfortable in still receiving Jesus in the Eucharist right now, you can actually do that right now because Jesus is present without adoration. And if you want to go to the church is open every day from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. So Dinah said this, and for those who don't know Dinah is the head of our music ministry, and she said, proud of your tantum ergo chant today. Oh, thank you. I don't think that is a piece to be proud of, but I tried my best to be very conscious that I hit the right notes. I really, in the past, when I was younger, I used to be part of a choir. And then I had an ear infection. And that ear infection probably, I think there was a time when I had an ear infection, and I realized that my ears like shut down by 50%. I think I was in my in my freshman year in high school. I think I had a fever, then I had an ear infection. Then I guess that became worse. That when I became a priest, probably 10 to 12 years into my priesthood, I lost it went down to 25%. Then I had an ear operation. So they placed, and it's because I didn't realize it, because of my allergic rhinitis. I had ear, I didn't really complain. I didn't tell my mom I had that problem, so nobody checked me on that. Then when the doctor punched into my eardrums and released the fluid from my ears, wow, this is not a good conversation. And all of a sudden, I started to hear, and I think it helped me recognize notes again, at least with greater precision than before. And I thank God for that. But then I lost the gift of singing, since I will not date myself, but that's a long time. Maybe for 40 years. Okay, I could not carry a tune. But now little by little, little by little, I think my hearing is coming back. Bad news for those who are going to confession, okay? I can hear better right now. So I am sorry for those who have gone to me for confessions up to probably, I think it's around the time when uh, after Pope John Paul II died. I guess that's when my hearing became really bad. Okay. So, uh, we are now at past 3:30, 3:33. Okay guys, last 25 minutes. Last 25 minutes for everyone today to come over and join us. Join us for our um, uh, communion, our post-mass communion. And for those who are coming over, may I invite you to part of it will be reflective. That's why I play songs to help us set ourselves in the mood. But also, part of me would like to impart that it's a joyful thing that we come over as a community. It's a joyful thing that we join together and receive the Lord together in communion and be part, even though it is a constant movement of people. We're not gathered in one place wherein there's a crowd, but your support is something that we are grateful to the Lord for. So thank you, everyone. And I cannot see what's going on, so I am now trusting with faith that everything is fine. I can hear the sirens going on. It stopped, so I don't know what's going on right now. I'm checking right now our video car. I can see cars coming in along. Yeah, right. This is also one indicator. I can see cars coming in along Clarkdale, our Clarkdale driveway. There's a steady stream of cars there. I'm looking right now at our security cameras. Okay, I can actually follow those cars. The car that I saw in the driveway, I now saw it pass by the parking lot. See, and it's very smooth, everyone. So may I invite everyone else to come over. And if you're, let me assure you that our ministers are properly briefed when it comes to the reception and giving of communion, and we make sure that they keep their hands sanitized. We have and then it's a priest who is in charge of, there'll be less hands involved when it comes to the Eucharist. Okay, for those coming in, if you're the cars coming in, the cars are slowly coming in, but they're not slowing down. They're slowing down. That means there are a good number of cars coming in. Okay. Okay. I might be boring you with my looking at. I'm not actually talking with you. I'm just looking at my screen right now. So, part of our reflection, let me. Hi, Gigette. Welcome. So I am accompanying. What I'm doing right now is that I'm accompanying those who are coming over to receive the Lord in communion, to keep everyone involved and informed. I'm keeping people informed and engaged in our communion time right now. So let me, to help you again in your reflection, let me play the original version of Lead Us, the song, that our own parish anthem. This is a beautiful way of giving us some perspective in the church, in what we're going through. And let's hear it from the original rendition, the premiere done by Emil Salud. And here is Lead Us from the man himself.
Save me, oh God. The flood has reached my head. I'm sinking in the waters in the deep, and I am overwhelmed. I'm crying out for help. My throat burns from shouts. I am seeking but failing to see you through my fear and doubt. Even in the storm, I praise you. Even in the dark, I shout your name. Even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. I've journeyed through the sea, seen the wonders of you, Lord. I am tossed into the storm waves, and then you whispered and calmed the raging sea, calmed the raging sea. Even in the storm I praise you, even in the dark I shout your name. Even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Be still, be still, and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Be still, and do not be afraid. Even in the storm, I praise you. Even in the dark, I shout your name. Even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Even in the storm, I praise you. Even in the dark, I shout your name. Even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. In you I place my trust. Lead us. Lead us. So we're going to go over the refrain just a little slower. The words are, even in the storm I praise you, even in the dark I shout your name, even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. Ready? 1, 2. Even in the storm I praise you, even in the dark I shout your name, even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. Even in the storm I praise you, even in the dark I shout your name, even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us. Even in the storm I praise you, even in the dark I shout your name, even when the waves are crashing over me, in you I place my trust. Lead us.
Okay, thank you so much. That's Emil, accompanied by Dinah Salud, and hello. Okay, I'm like a DJ right now with my earphones. Now I'm able to use these again. I wasn't able to use this before. Something messed up in our system, but right now we're clawing our way back. We're now in the last 15 minutes. And for those who are contemplating in joining us today for our communion, this is maybe text those who are considering. This is the last time. This is the last 15 minutes that we're gonna do so. So, I think I will be part of my duties as pastor is that I have to check what's going on. This is I have to wear many hats today. One of them is I'm wearing the hat of broadcaster because our usual broadcasters are not here right now because they are on it's their day off. Well, they're volunteers, okay? So it's not a job for them. It's an act of love. So today they're not able to join us. That's for Dinah Salud and also for Tony Rose. Then this is a spontaneous act for me to do this. Okay, so I will have to wrap this up very soon. So I'm now inviting everyone else who have not yet considered going to the church. Do so now. This is your last 20 minutes before we close our current ministry right now. The ministry of our ministry of giving communion to everyone else. So, thank you so much for being here. We're now in the last 15 minutes. I don't think anything I say will be of any benefit because that's it. We're that we're about to wrap up. So just come over and that's it. Last 20 minutes, okay, or last 14, okay. But if you are late, just come, okay. When I mean late, it's not 2 hours late. I'm just talking about a few minutes late. We're still have to settle things there in the area anyway. But just come on down, okay. And we have done that last week. There were people who came in a little later. So for those who are watching me right now, and maybe since I have probably used up my quota of words, and for today, I think I will. I will be, if you will permit me and excuse me from the Regina Celli broadcast at 6 o'clock. But who knows? But maybe yes. I think I had already used up my voice with all of this. It's not easy, right? Talking about just keeping people entertained and to accompany you while you're coming over. So that's so please excuse me. This is already, I think this will already be my my broadcast for today, wherein I accompanied you as you went, as you came over to receive Jesus in communion, and also it and also to be part of the community. So again, come over if you're uncomfortable in receiving the Lord in communion. Just do what you usually do when you fall in line with communion, but you're part of the community. You can drive up, cross your arms across your chest, but it's still a beautiful symbol. I really love that symbol of people coming, and I also admire the humility of people who would go and fall in line in communion and still not receive. You can probably just stay right where you are, but you made that effort, and that's an act of humility, and I really find that very beautiful. So that allows us now. We have the last 10 minutes. So if you are within the parish area, within the borders, 10 minutes will be just enough for you to get here. I think we're 10 minutes away from all points of the parish. Okay? So this is last call, everyone. Last call. For those watching in Facebook and YouTube and in the website, last call. And I'm going to go out now and make sure that I deal with talk with and say thank you to all of our volunteers. So God bless you, and may you have a wonderful Sunday. And this will be my broadcast already. Now it's nearing 4 o'clock. Before I end, something popped up in my calendar. You know, sometimes you're 10 minutes before the event, you get a reminder. Yesterday would have been the ordination of one of our parishioners, Justin Claraval. He should have been ordained as a priest right now. And for the 4 o'clock Mass, he should have been celebrating. You know that deacon who helped us during Christmas time? He should have been preparing himself right now for his Thanksgiving Mass here in our parish at 4 o'clock. Right? But that is part of God's plan. Right? Even we have one deacon also in the Philippines who's supposed to be ordained to the priesthood. No, he's Jesuit. He's a Jesuit. His ordination would have been in the should have been yesterday at the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Hollywood, home turf. So we don't know this. We don't know where the next ordination, where it will be scheduled, but we're going to wait for that. We have one priest, and that is one of our deacons also in our congregation. So okay, everyone. So those who are, I will not be doing the Regina Jelly broadcast because I don't think I have the voice anymore. So, and thank you for staying tuned. This is now the last 7 minutes of our opportunity to receive the Lord in communion. But I thank you all who have joined us, and thank you to all the volunteers, and let's all thank the Lord together. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen. God bless you. Thank you, Puri. Thank you that's very kind of you. God bless you.